Hello and welcome to my senior thesis presentation. My topic is the human anatomy and physiology in baseball, more specifically the catcher position. Today I will be discussing things like the physical demands, effects on the body, and the history of America's national pastime, baseball. First comes baseball's history and the basic knowledge associated with it. Many sports fans consider baseball to be the national pastime of America, and while it is commonly believed that the game was invented by Abner Doubleday in 1839, it was actually developed by Alexander Cartwright. Cartwright developed baseball from an English game called rounders that originated in the mid-18th century, and it was viewed as an actual sport by the 19th century. It was also derived from the Indian game of cricket. The first professional baseball association was created in 1871, and it eventually became known as today's National League, with its counterpart, the American League, being founded in 1900. Today, Major League Baseball is one of the most well-known sports leagues in the world. The first game was played in 1846, and eventually by the year 1900, the MLB was considered to be a fully functioning league. We now see baseball being played in several countries and leagues around the world. These include the United States, Japan, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and so many others. One of the unique aspects of baseball is its extensive set of rules and regulations. There must be 9 players on the field at all times if you are on defense, and each position serves a different role. While hitting, you must run 90 feet to first base and advance to the other bases if possible. Baseball is unlike any other sports in that it is not as physically demanding as others. It is more of a strategic and slow-paced game compared to sports like basketball and hockey, which are constantly fast-paced. This also makes baseball different from other sports in that anyone can play it, regardless of athleticism or body type, as long as they possess at least a couple of the 5 essential skills, which are fielding, speed, arm strength, contact, and power. Next, I will talk about the basic needs associated with baseball. Baseball is considered an anaerobic sport, meaning that it does not require the presence of oxygen. It is a game of repetition, with most of the time spent standing there waiting for the next pitch. Baseball often requires quick bursts of speed or energy when running the bases, pitching, or swinging a bat. Baseball players must have excellent hand-eye coordination when hitting and playing defense. They also need to be on their toes at all time and need to be able to make a jump, cut, or dive that requires muscles throughout their body. The duration of a baseball game is an average of 3 hours or 9 innings with no clock, meaning that the game could be drastically shorter or longer than these 3 hours. When it comes to a player's diet, carbohydrates are essential to keeping energy levels high and supporting high-intensity movements. Proteins and fats are also important for overall health and muscle recovery. Specifically, a catcher on a hot day must hydrate the night before to avoid dehydration and muscle cramping. Being a catcher in baseball involves using various explosive motions and movements. When it comes to hitting, the humerus, ulna, and radius bones are responsible for swinging the bat. The ligaments responsible for the arms during swinging are the annular ligament and the radial-collateral ligament. You also need to use your shoulder joints, which involve the coracoacromial, the coracohumeral, and glenohumeral ligaments. When swinging and running, you also need to use your legs, with the femur, fibula, and tibia being responsible for these actions. When throwing, the bones you use are the clavicle, scapula, humerus, ulna, and radial bones. The ligaments are the ulnar collateral, the annular, the radial collateral, the coracoacromial, the coracohumeral, and the glenohumeral ligaments. Lastly, when squatting, you use the femurs, fibulas, and tibias. The ligaments involved are the ACLs, PCLs, MCLs, and LCLs. Baseball is not considered to be an endurance sport. Baseball is actually an anaerobic sport that primarily relies on the ATP-PC system. This system provides energy for short bursts of high intensity and explosive movements in specific game situations. Most movements required in baseball are 5 seconds or less. In this system, all of the energy is typically used in under 15 seconds. Baseball involves the glycolytic and aerobic metabolism for movements. The metabolism that is most commonly used in the muscles in baseball is the glycolytic one, which lasts from 15 seconds to 2 minutes. It also has aerobic metabolism that can overcome 1 minute of work without any limitations. Since most baseball games are played outside, sweat rates differ vastly. On an average temperature day, a 200-pound athlete can lose around 1 pound of sweat or 16 ounces. Catchers tend to sweat more than regular position players as well due to the constant movement they partake in and the gear they have to wear. Now, let's talk about injuries in baseball. Wrist fractures account for 17.5% of fractures while playing. It is most common to fracture your wrist while swinging the bat, but you can also fracture it by being hit by a pitch or even when throwing the ball. The specific bone that is most commonly fractured is the radius bone. In most occurrences, surgery is often required, which leads to functional activity as soon as 8 weeks after the injury. By the 3-month mark, heavy stress can be put on the bone again. The surgery performed is either an external fixation or an internal plate fixation. No cast is necessary and physical therapy is often recommended. Physical therapy is incorporated to restore the player's full range of motion, to decrease swelling, and to rebuild and regain all lost strength in the bone. The sensory system is responsible for detecting changes in an environment and transferring the information to the central nervous system through sensory neurons. During a baseball game, multiple sensory neurons are activated to provide the CNS with information about the environment and any necessary movements that the body needs to do. Visual sensory neurons are activated when light enters the eyes so that you can see various things on the field. Proprioceptive sensory neurons provide the sixth sense, and they detect changes in the body like joints, muscles, and tendons so that balance and coordination can be maintained. Auditory sensory neurons are also used to detect sound waves when having to listen for the crack of the bat or a teammate communicating with you. Lastly, mechanoreceptors help respond to mechanical pressure or distortion so that you know how much force to apply when throwing, swinging, or running. Multiple parts of the brain are considered to be involved in receiving and processing information when playing baseball. Each of these cortexes in the brain works together to help a player perceive, process, and respond to the various pieces of information that they receive while playing baseball. The cortexes involved are the visual, auditory, motor, somatosensory, and prefrontal cortexes. The muscular system also plays a large role in baseball. The muscles involved are the biceps, triceps, deltoids, calves, extensors, just to name a few. Let's also discuss the muscles and neurotransmitters involved in playing baseball. When throwing a ball, the activation of the muscles in the arm and the shoulder is controlled by the neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. When hitting a ball, the activated muscles are controlled by dopamine. When running, the neurotransmitter involved is norepinephrine. Lastly, when catching a ball, the neurotransmitter used is serotonin. The major muscles activated by all the movements are located in the arms, shoulders, core, legs, hands, fingers, and back. When you play baseball, your body goes through various changes and adaptations to supply the necessary nutrients and oxygen to your muscles. The main ways in which this happens are through the change in heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen content, carbon dioxide content, water content, and glucose levels. During moderate exercise such as playing baseball, your heart rate ranges anywhere from 60 to 100 beats per minute to 110 to 140 beats per minute. Blood pressure increases due to the dilation of blood vessels in your muscles, allowing for greater blood flow to the muscles. Blood pressure levels start at 130 over 80 and rise to 140 over 90. As you continue to play, especially as a catcher, your muscles begin to consume more oxygen and your respiration rate increases to provide your muscles with energy more efficiently. Oxygen content is normally around 55 milliliters times kilograms per minute, while carbon dioxide levels are around 2 to 5 milliliters times kilograms times torque. Lastly, your body burns glucose for energy when playing baseball, which decreases glucose levels in your bloodstream. To combat this, your liver releases stored glucose into the bloodstream. A player's glycemic range should be around 5 through 10 millimeters. During baseball games, several hormones are produced and secreted by various glands in the body. Two of the most important hormones that are secreted during baseball are adrenaline and testosterone. Adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, is secreted in the adrenal gland above the kidneys. It is released in response to stress and physical activity. During baseball, the body can perceive the game as being stressful, leading to an increase in adrenaline or epinephrine. This hormone helps increase heart rate, blood pressure, and respiratory rates, which allows the body to perform at a higher level of intensity. It also triggers a release of glucose from the liver, providing the muscle with a quick supply of energy. Testosterone, on the other hand, is secreted from the testes in males and the ovaries in females. It plays a critical role in muscle development and physical performance. The physical demands of baseball stimulate the production of testosterone, increasing muscle mass, bone density, and overall strength. Additionally, it enhances focus and concentration, which is important during critical game moments. Finally, playing baseball also has positive impacts on the digestive system. The physical demands of the sport increase metabolism, burn calories, and improve digestion. It also reduces stress levels, which help digestive health. The production of endorphins, or feel-good chemicals that reduce pain and improve mood, also aid the digestive system by reducing the perception of discomfort with digestive diseases. Lastly, the movements in baseball help increase blood flow and circulation, which deliver necessary oxygen and nutrients to the digestive system, which improve digestion rates and prevent future issues. Thank you for your time, and thanks for listening to my presentation on the human anatomy and physiology in baseball.